There's many more things I could say, but all in all, I'm just shocked at the fact that nobody's talking about this, and I feel like more people should be talking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Friday. Hope all of you having a great end to your week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, we gotta talk about the big, bad, and mighty SEC. There's no arguing or debating what I'm about to say next. You either love the SEC or you hate them. Simple as that. For the people that love the Southeastern Conference, it's relatively simple as well. It's because they're a part of it. For the people that hate the SEC, it's because they're not a part of it and they think the SEC is overrated, and I go on and on and on. You already know. Whether you like it or not, it's reality. You can convince yourself otherwise, but the SEC, it's the cream of the crop. Yeah, they weren't too great this year, but that's an outlier. Just because you eat one apple on a Friday and you eat cookies 6 days a week, it doesn't mean the apple's going to override the cookies. Same thing with the SEC. If you don't know what analogy I was implying there, I'm saying just because you have one bad season, it doesn't negate 10 great seasons. The reason for me making this video today is because we're here to talk about something the SEC is doing that is ridiculous. It is so ridiculous, as a matter of fact, you may not ever see this happen again within the next 20, 25, 30 years. But whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. You think this is a football video? Like Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. This is a basketball video. Most of y'all know this by this point in time. If you don't, you should know this. Your boy Matt is a big college basketball fan. Love college basketball, but not just college ball. I love the sport of basketball. It's amazing. And very similar to football, the SEC is now dominating basketball. Tried to find the stat, I lost it, but it was something like in the non-conference games, the SEC combined was 54-4. It was a 2-week stretch where the entire conference of the SEC only lost like 4 to 5 games. It was something insane and absurd like that. We've recently gotten into conference play, and this is where the SEC teams, they just continue to beat up one another. But even with that being said, I want you to listen to this. In the top 25, the SEC has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not even 9, but 10 teams. Count them. 10 teams ranked inside the top 25. The conference with the second most only has half of that. They have 5 teams in the top 25. Most of y'all know Matt as a huge Alabama football fan, which I am, but I also grew up a huge Alabama basketball fan. I'm Alabama everything, and throughout my entire childhood, it's why I appreciate this run Nate Oates and Alabama's gone on the past couple years so much. My entire childhood, Alabama basketball, not good. I think we made maybe 2 or 3 tournaments. And when I say tournaments, I'm referring to the March Madness. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We just wasn't too good. Probably the most excited I was for Alabama basketball growing up was when we had Trevor Lacey. And some of the notable guys I remember growing up, I could list off about 50 or 60, but these just popped into my mind first. Trevor Relford. I still got his jersey till this day. What was that one? Oh yeah, Tony Mitchell, number 5. And this guy actually had a decent career in the NBA. JaMychal Green. What you know about JaMychal Green? Don't ever say Matt doesn't know ball. Only real ball knowers know him. Long story short, Bama basketball never really that good, but I always enjoyed watching it, win or lose. But not just Bama basketball. The entire SEC outside of Florida, they had those back-to-back championships. I remember that with Joakim Noah. And also Kentucky. Kentucky's sort of been a flop in the postseason, but they've been the team you think of in basketball for the SEC. But not even just this year. I know it's the main focal point of this video, but the past couple of years, I feel like the SEC has been getting way better. Bruce Pearl at Auburn, he's been doing a heck of a job there. Don't get me started on John Calipari. I've been telling you for 5 years on the channel, that guy's a fraud. I'm glad for Kentucky fans. He's finally left Kentucky, and now he's just tearing down the Arkansas basketball program. I'm telling you right now, do not get me started on a Calipari rant. Rick Barnes at Tennessee, he's doing an amazing job. What's the other guy, the guy at Florida, the new guy? I think that's Todd Golden. Look at Florida. I think they're in the top 5. Yeah, they are in the top 5 now. What about Buzz Williams and Chris Beard at A&M and Ole Miss? I think they're doing good jobs. I know they're not a great team, but don't sleep on Mike White in Georgia. They're 15-6. They may sneak into a tournament. The list goes on and on and on, but I want you to take a look at this. The SEC has 3 teams in the top 5. 3. So it's not like you got 10 teams in the top 25 and they're bottom feeders ranked in like, 15, 16, 17. No. You got 3 of the best teams in the nation in one conference. And number 1, you got Auburn. They've been insane. We're going to talk more about them in just a second. And number 4, you got Alabama. But we knew Alabama was going to be good this year. They made it to the freaking Final Four last year, returning a lot of key pieces and starters. And at number 5, you got Florida. And I want to harp on this. Auburn and Alabama, you can't even argue and say, oh, it's a fluky season or it's a fluky run. They've been at the top of college basketball for the past couple of years in a while now. This isn't new. Alabama with Brandon Miller was the national overall 1 seed in the NCAA tournament a few years ago, and then last year they make the Final Four. I know people view Alabama, and they always will view them as a football program, but guys, they are one of the top basketball programs in all college basketball. Crazy to say this, but true. And like I said, it's reality whether you like it or not. Alabama currently has a better basketball program than a football program. Same thing with the Auburn Tigers. I still feel like they should have won the national championship that year where they fouled Kyle Guy in the corner. I feel so terrible for Auburn fans. That was a national title team. I felt like they were better than them, but like we say, it is what it is. Can't dread on it too much. Point is, me bringing it up, Bruce Pearl's had Auburn at the tippy top of college basketball for a good while. So that's not shocking. However, the past couple years in the postseason, it's been pretty lackluster. Hopefully they can turn that around, and I think they will this season. They have what I don't think is close. The best player in all of college basketball. He should win Player of the Year. Janai Broome. That guy's a monster. He's a powerhouse. He can singly take over and win a game. And when you surround him with all those pieces, whew, Auburn's hard to beat. I don't know if they can be beat if they're playing their A game. Auburn has 2 of the top 3-point shooters in the SEC with Pettiford, and I'm drawing a blank. Well, what's that other guy's name? What is his name? Is it Denver Jones? I think it is. You also got Chad Baker. You got Cardwell coming off of the bench. This is a good team. I mean, easily Final Four team. What about the Florida Gators, though? They've just been sneakily flying under the radar because everybody's talking about, oh, look at Alabama. They're scoring 100 points a game. Look at Auburn. They got the best team in the nation. You got Florida sitting at 18-2. Let me say that again. They're 18-2, and I think they have one of the best players in the nation, Will Clayton Jr. Love him. Love his game. What makes Florida so good and so scary is not only can they shoot. We know they can shoot the ball, but they have size. They have length, and they can play when they decide to. Lockdown defense. And I know everybody's going to bring up, I think it was about a month ago when they played Kentucky, and Kentucky put up over 100 points on them. But I'm going to remind you, the following game, they held Tennessee to 43. Let's talk about Alabama a little bit because I haven't even talked about them at all. I know Alabama made the Final Four, which is a prestigious honor, the first time they've ever done that. But this year's team is way better than last year's team. Number one, they're returning Mark Sears, but here's a kicker at that. Alabama Nate Oates benched Mark Sears the entire second half against LSU because of attitude problems, and they still won the game without Sears. The reason I bring that up is to just prove a point, like Nate Oates was trying to prove a point to Sears, is you're not bigger than this team, you're not entitled to playing, and we can win without you. This team, unlike last year's team, has some insane depth. And the X factor for Alabama, remember the name, former Auburn player, Aiden Holloway. That guy's a game changer, and he just continues to get better and better and better every single week. Another thing that has helped Alabama, and it's what they lacked last year, is they finally got a legit center, and they got size. Last year, in the Final Four run, you had Grant Nelson playing center more than half the time. Don't get me wrong, Grant Nelson's great and all, but you don't want him being center. You got to have more size. Nate Oates realized that in the portal. They got one of the top centers out there. They got Clifford Amore from Rutgers, and now he's doing great at Bama. And if you watch Bama basketball, you would know this. The unsung hero of this team is Mo Diabate. That dude has been the MVP the last couple of games. It's all the little things he does and all the rebounds he gets and just how hard he plays. They also got Philon, the freshman from Mobile, Alabama. He's been balling out, and I think he's going to be a future NBA player. And that's why I say this team has so much more depth. Alabama lost a key starter in Latrell Wrightsell Jr., and guess who stepped up? Chris Youngblood. Against Mississippi State, 7 for 10 on three-pointers, had 23 points. This actually feels like a team that if they get hot at the right time, they can actually win a title. I never felt like last year's team could win the title. I thought it was, or I guess a better way of saying it is, I thought they reached their pinnacle by making it to the Final Four. But the pinnacle for this team is winning the national championship. And one of the most interesting things about this Alabama team is in previous years, if they don't shoot the three ball well, they're not going to win. But this year, they've won games in which they haven't necessarily shot well. They've shot 28%, 30%, 32% from the three-point line, and they've still found ways to win. I don't think you need me to sit up here and continue to rant and rave on Bama, Florida, Auburn. You know they're great. Those are what I would label as your Tier 1 teams in the SEC, and here's your Tier 2 teams. Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Kentucky is really, really, really good, but it still seems like they're trying to figure out some things. Whereas Auburn, Florida, Bama, boom, they have their identity. They know who they are. Tennessee, I wouldn't even say is in the same boat as Kentucky. They're in a worse situation. Tennessee is always going to be a solid defensive team, but their problem is on offense, they don't know what they're doing at times. You're really starting to understand the value of Dalton Knecht for last year's team because they just give it to him and he just go one-on-one and drop 40 points. Their new player to, I guess you'd say, replace Dalton Knecht is Lanier, and you've seen it, I've seen it, and he's no Knecht. I love A&M, and I think they can make a deep run in March Madness due to one thing only. Their offensive rebounding is through the charts. I like the way they play, and similar to last year at Alabama, I think this could be a team that makes a sneaky Final Four run. And you know how we just talked about Kentucky and Tennessee? Well, why don't we talk about a team that beat both of them at home? Vanderbilt. They're inside the top 25 as well for the first time in 10 years. They've been playing out of their minds. They got a great new coach, and don't look now, but they're 16-4. Ole Miss just got a big win over Texas. Previously, they were on a 3-game skid, but they beat Alabama. And not only did they beat Alabama, they beat Alabama at home. And when I say at home, my apologies. You probably got confused there. I'm talking about they beat Alabama on Alabama's home court. And last but not least, rounding out your top 25, I'm not too high on this team. We got Mississippi State. And it's crazy I'm saying I'm not too high on them because they're currently ranked 14th in the nation. And I'm not even going to say they could have. They should have beat Alabama. They missed an easy layup at the end that pretty much sold the game for them. Mississippi State, they got size, they got length, and more importantly, they got Josh Hubbard. But what about your non-ranked teams like Georgia, Texas, and Oklahoma? Well, fun fact for you, they're still projected to make the NCAA tournament. And as it stands right now, the SEC has 13 teams. I'm going to repeat that, 13 teams in the field. There's many more things I could say, but all in all, I'm just shocked at the fact that nobody's talking about this, and I feel like more people should be talking about it. I get it 10,000%. The SEC is known as a football conference, and most people in the Southeast, they like football more than basketball, but come on, man. The basketball side of the SEC, it needs some recognition. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on those down below. But